Hey slugs, welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Now today's video is a little different. Well, I mean any video is different because I never upload, okay? Obviously I'm in my bed because I'm not getting up to... I'm sorry love, I love you, but I'm not getting out of bed to film this video, okay? But today is a scary video. I love scary videos, I absolutely love them. But today I'm going to be calling some scary phone numbers and hope that stuff happens. So, I googled scary numbers, okay. Do you know what? Let's just call it. Oh my god. I should not have. I should not have made this video. I'm scared. They just like, it was like weird noises. I don't know if you guys could hear it very well. It was just weird noises. And then it just said in like a demonic voice, all's well that ends well. Like, shut up man, you're not Satan. If you were, I'll be worshipping you. Oh my god, I can't find any numbers that are like UK numbers, and I'm not trying to pay to get haunted, so I think what I'm gonna do is just like read scary stories to you guys. 15 spooky stories that will keep you up at night. Let's go. Okay. Let's get more comfortable. Oh wait, should we like go under the no, you want to see a thing? Okay, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. Okay, should I do it like this? This is kind of cute. Okay, I'm just gonna read it. I think it's a Reddit post, so I'm just gonna read it. Okay, I've posted this on my other account, copying and pasting it here. The scariest thing I've had happen while camping. One second love. The scariest thing I've had happen while camping. So I live in Eastern Oregon and my mom lives in Western Oregon. I went to visit her for the summer, and she's very outdoorsy, so we decided to take the hour drive from her city to the coast. We end up at this free campsite at the top of this hill. We were the only campers there. We relaxed for the rest of the day, made food, etc. A truck full of men drive up the hill and walk and talk with my mom. I don't know what about. I wasn't suspicious at the time. Then they leave us. Fast forward to the middle of the night. I wake up to my mom, sitting straight up in the tent. I wake easily, so I heard her gasp, and it woke me. As soon as she saw I was awake, she put her hand over my mouth, because I was starting to ask her what's wrong. It was dead silent, and all of a sudden, you hear footsteps right beside the tent. The little flap that covers the zipper was even moving. Thankfully, my mom has quick wits and said very loudly, "Kenny, get the gun!" Kenny is my dad, although that doesn't matter. And mind you, he was not there. Just as girls, like I previously said. They left. No harm was done. Thank the Lord for my mama. That's not even scary. Cut this out, editing me. Ouija board knocks back. Well, this could go many different ways, okay. In high school, my friends and I were messing around with a Ouija board one night. We had done it before, and nothing remarkable had ever happened. We usually did it to try and scare each other, or our... Right? So, it says, or our girlfriend... can you see that? No, you cannot. You definitely cannot see that. Okay, well... It says our, not our. So, anyway. Our girlfriends. We all thought it was a joke. That night, there was no one else home except the 7 of us. and we all got together around the board. One of the girls there wanted to try it. She'd never done it before. This time was different. The board misspelled some of the words the same way every time. It gave answers that seemed really historically accurate for our town, things we neither knew or cared about. Long story short, the spirit claimed it was a 10-year-old boy who had died on the property in the 1800s and was buried there too in an unmarked grave. My friend's house was on a farm on the edge of town. We were all a little freaked out because the board had never been so detailed and consistent. However, we were still skeptical, and we were... I'm getting scared. We were still a little skeptical, and we were assuming one of us was trying to scare the rest. Finally, a friend asked the spirit if he could do something to prove he was there. It went to yes, and then spelled out K-N-O-C-K. Then the planchette stopped moving. We all just stared at it silently, and then there was a on the window right next to us. The lights were on outside, and there was absolutely no one there. We never touched that fucking board ever again. I must say that did creep me out a little bit, and I had to like bring my feet under the cover, you know, when you get scared. This reminds me of the one time I played with a Ouija board with my friends, and it was really scary because I thought one of my friends was moving it, but they swear on their life that they weren't. But it said that it was like, and my house is really old. The board said that the spirit or whatever said that she was I think it was like a 40-year-old woman. I don't really remember. Her name was Emma though. She seemed quite nice though, but I made the Ouija board out of like a drawer in my chest of drawers, so now it just sits in my room. Oh, that's my alarm. Okay, a forgotten memory. Growing up, my bedroom was the only one that faced the front of the house/street. When I was about 8 or 9, I woke up to my dad calmly but firmly telling me to get up, go in the bathroom, and shut the door. I was annoyed because I was half asleep, as you should be. That's like really rude. But I listened. Apparently I was more tired than I realized because I fell asleep on the bathroom floor. The next morning, I asked my mom what happened. She seemed oblivious and confused. I looked at my dad like she was crazy, and I asked him why he had woken me up. He denied doing it. I was becoming frustrated to the point of tears, pussy, but I ultimately let it go. Fast forward to college. I was home on break, and I decided to ask again. I thought of that night on and off for years, and it still bothered me. This time my dad goes, "Ha, I was wondering if you even remembered that." Turns out a lot of houses on the block were being vandalized and robbed all those years ago. Someone had broken into the garage and was inside of the house. My room was partially over the garage. My dad heard it happen and quietly got me to safety. Police were called. That guy ran. He was never caught. However, my parents didn't want a terrified kid on their hands. That's actually quite cute. One time my sister, it was Halloween night, Halloween night, and my sister for the whole night was telling me how it's like, it's when the veil of spirits and like the spirit world and our world is like at its thinnest. And I was like 10. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then like she went downstairs to get herself a cheese toastie. She came back up with a toastie in her hand. She was acting like, I don't want to say like acting possessed, but like she was acting possessed, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so I was like, nah, what the fuck are you on? And she was like, with a toastie, and then she just like walked back downstairs, and I was just like sat there like. Anyway, came up upstairs, act like it never happened, literally to this day. I feel like she'd have forgotten it because, you know, she has quite a bad memory, but like, it's so frustrating because it's like, do you not remember that? Like, and I was shitting myself for like a 10-year-old, you know what I mean? To think that your sister's been possessed. Also, we were watching horror movies that night. Don't tell me, man. Phantom alarms. When I was in high school, I had a lot of these experiences. At the house my dad lived in at the time, it was really old, built in the early 1800s. There were plenty of times I'd be sitting in the living room and distinctly hear the cabinets opening and closing in the kitchen. It was just me and my dad that lived in the house, and you could clearly see when his bedroom door was shut and he was asleep, but still hear it. Sorry, I'm a really bad reader, guys. Normally my dad worked 7 to 3, but occasionally worked PM or overnight shift. One night he was working until 11. I was 17 at the time, around 8 or so. Around 8 or so, I guess, PM. At around 8 or so, I'm sitting in my room playing Borderlands and think I hear footsteps coming from the living room, which was adjacent to my bedroom, and I assume my dad's home early. I go back to playing. I keep hearing the steps, so I pause the game and listen, and the footsteps are slowly pacing back and forth between the living room and the kitchen in a steady rhythm. I laid in my bed scared shitless and actually counted the steps. Every time it took 15 paces to the living room and 15 back to the kitchen. God. Okay, needless to say, I did not fucking sleep that night. I had another situation at my mom's house about 2 years prior to this. Out of nowhere, my alarm clock would go off at midnight every night. I assumed it was busted and got rid of it. Yeah, I'm not reading the second story. But that does remind me of a time when me and my parents went camping. So my sister, who I mentioned earlier, well, yeah, she could be bullshitting because she, what I said earlier. But apparently so we were camping, so my sister was staying in the house and looking after the animals. So apparently she was staying in my parents' room or whatever, which is like underneath my room, and apparently she could hear like people walking up and down the steps like all night, which I did say that my house is haunted. Okay, mom's scary boyfriend. About 5 years ago, my mom started dating a guy she met on a dating site. That part is fine. I'd recently started dating the woman who would later become my wife. Oh, that's cute. And we had met online. I'll just refer to her as my wife in the story. I'll give her a name. Her name is Joanne. Anyway, Joanne and I never really liked this guy. We didn't think he was mean or anything, just he was a little creepy. He was quiet, he kept his eyes closed a lot, and occasionally said odd things like offering Joanne a chocolate and then popping one in his mouth. Do you want a chocolate? Sorry. Closing his eyes and moaning. Do you want a chocolate? Ew, disgusting. As he let it melt in his mouth. One time my wife and I were visiting my mom, but she got called into work, so we waited at her house. Her boyfriend was over, but he spent the entire several hours just hanging out in her bedroom with the door closed. Nah, I'm not doing this today. I'm not talking about how you walked in on your stepdad. I'm not. Just before Christmas, my mom and this guy started having some difficulties. Joanne and I were visiting her for the holidays, and she dropped all of her problems on us. Shit, okay, sorry. And we listened carefully and told her our opinions, and she suggested that she would be better off without him. She already had her mind made up, although she decided to break up with him on Christmas Eve. Like, I get he was a bit creepy, but like, Christmas Eve. We spent the night at my mom's and got up. We spent the night at my mom's and got up early on Christmas morning to visit my dad at his house. We didn't plan to spend the night at my dad's, but we got snowed in, which was actually a nice Christmas surprise. The next day, we left as soon as we could to get through the snow, and Joanne suggested that we stop by my mom's house on the way so that we could see if she was okay. Joanne just had a really bad feeling about my mom's now ex-boyfriend. My mom's car was in the driveway, but that doesn't mean much because she lives close enough to walk that she often walks it, and hadn't snowed in her town. And it wasn't snowed. I'm sorry guys, I'm like a really bad reader, okay. My mom's car was in the driveway, but that doesn't mean much because she lives close enough to work that she often walks, and it hadn't snowed in her town. She also never locks her door, which drives me crazy. You drive me crazy. Anyways, so we let ourselves in. That's when we see blood oozing out of the refrigerator's water dispenser. Out of the water dispenser. Okay. It had filled up the spill container and was leaking onto the floor and then made a puddle. My wife screamed and I freaked out. I fully expected to see my mom's head in the freezer. I nervously opened the freezer to find... I'm not doing this today. They're really playing with my emotions. To find a bag of frozen cherries that had been opened, crammed into the freezer so that it fell onto the ice dispenser and melted. If there's not going to be a decapitation, love, I don't want it. I don't want it. I just don't. Okay. Last one, you guys, because I know this video is getting a little bit long. Four years ago, I lived in a very large farmhouse that was converted into 2 apartments. The house was known as the Old Boys' Home. It was used to house boys with behavioral issues, but was closed due to allegations of molestation. Anyway, I was living with my boyfriend and 3-year-old daughter at the time. My bedroom had a large fireplace that had been boarded up and painted over. I decided to push my bed up against it one day while I was rearranging things. It was like a headboard, okay? That night around 1 a.m., I heard a small voice saying, Mommy. And I sat up in my bed but didn't see anything. So I reached over to my boyfriend trying to grab down at my daughter and put her in our bed. Which was like, okay. Wait, okay. Pretend this is a daughter, right? And I'm just like in bed, right? And I'm just like, get on my bed. That's how I imagine that happening. I don't know if you guys could see that. I kept feeling around and was still hearing the voice but couldn't feel her. My boyfriend woke up and turned the bedside lamp on, asking me, "What the hell are you doing?" I explained that Amelia was trying to get in our bed and I was reaching for her. There was nobody there. My daughter was sound asleep in her room. Then the next night came. Around 1 a.m. my dog had started to whimper at our door, so my boyfriend got up to take him outside. You know that feeling in bed when someone lies down next to you, where the bed pushes... No, I don't. I really don't. Where the bed pushes in and there's a warmth in your back? I felt that, so I assumed my boyfriend had come back to bed. I rolled over. My boyfriend wasn't in bed. I felt the fucking bed release pressure. Whatever was laying next to me had gotten up in that second. I moved my bed the next day to the other side of the room, and I never had another incident in the 2 years I remained in that house. That was kind of a bad one to end off on, however. Okay. I really enjoyed this. I really missed being able to talk to you guys, I guess. I'm gonna keep this on because the lighting's really bad. Okay. Yeah, I really miss talking to you guys because whatever. And I just like having someone to talk to, and I've been missing my friends a lot, and I just feel like you guys are my besties. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I actually enjoyed this kind of creepy thing. I know it's not really Halloween or whatever, but I think I might do more kind of creepy stuff and go more into depth about my haunted house that I'm in currently. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Oh yeah, 2 songs on streaming platforms. Sorry, I feel a bit sick. Friday Night Drama and Strawberry Frappuccino. I have a new song coming out on the 28th of February. Oh, maybe my phone is haunted. Jesus Christ. New song coming out on the 28th of February. Oh my god, that's right. New song out on the 28th of February called Oh Baby. Make sure you pre-add. If the link's ready, yeah, it might not be ready. Follow me on Instagram for all the updates. Link in the description. Okay, bye guys. I love you so much. Okay, so I've just finished filming my scary video of calling creepy numbers and like reading out scary stories, and I don't know if I've like creeped myself out, but I swear to God I'm hearing fucking noises in my house, like above, like in my attic. I don't know what it is, it just